You are sitting in a room right now, safe, warm, no predators, no threat of any kind, and yet somewhere inside you, something is watching. It is scanning, checking exits, clocking the stranger who walked in a little too fast, deciding in less than a second whether that sound outside was nothing or something. You did not choose to do any of this. Your brain did it for you automatically before you even finished reading this sentence. And the reason is stranger than you think. Your brain is not a modern machine. It is an ancient survival engine wearing a modern disguise, and it has not received a single major update in roughly 300,000 years. Everything you feel when your heart jumps at a loud noise, everything you feel when a crowded room makes you want to press your back against a wall, every flicker of unease when someone stares at you too long, all of it was engineered for a world that no longer exists. A world where being wrong meant being eaten. Here is what modern neuroscience keeps finding. The more comfortable and safe your life becomes, the harder your brain works to find threats anyway. Not because something is wrong with you, because something is profoundly right with you. In an ancient sense, you are descended from the most paranoid, most vigilant, most threat-obsessed humans who ever lived. The ones who relaxed too soon did not survive to have children. You are here because your ancestors never fully relaxed. Think about the last time something startled you. A door slam, a phone buzz at 3 a.m., a car that braked too close. Your body reacted before your conscious mind had any idea what was happening. Your pupils dilated, your heart rate spiked. Cortisol and adrenaline flooded your bloodstream, muscles tensed, ready to move. All of this in under 200 milliseconds. And then, a second later, your thinking brain caught up and said, "Relax." It was nothing. That gap, that tiny gap between reaction and reason, is one of the most important evolutionary features you carry. Neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux spent decades mapping what he called the low road of fear. His research at New York University showed that sensory information, a sound, a shape, a sudden movement, takes a shortcut directly to the amygdala, the brain's threat detection hub, before it ever reaches the cortex where rational thought lives. Your amygdala fires first. It asks questions second. This was not a design flaw. This was the difference between life and death for 2 million years. Imagine your ancestor on the African savanna 100,000 years ago. A rustle in the tall grass? Was it the wind? A bird? Or a leopard? The ancestors who paused to reason it through carefully, the ones who waited to gather more data before reacting, sometimes got it wrong. Fatally wrong. But the ancestors who flinched first, who sprinted before they were sure, who felt a spike of terror at ambiguity itself, they survived. They came home. They had children. You are their child. You carry their flinch. Psychologists call this negativity bias, and it runs through almost everything you do. Researcher Roy Baumeister and his colleagues published a landmark 2001 paper called "Bad is Stronger Than Good," demonstrating that negative events, negative emotions, and negative information consistently have a greater impact on the human mind than equivalent positive events. You feel a loss more sharply than an equal gain. You remember an insult longer than a compliment. You notice a scowl in a crowd faster than a smile. This is not a character flaw. This is ancient mathematics. In an environment where a threat could kill you and a missed opportunity merely cost you dinner, your brain correctly assigned more weight to danger than to reward. Every single time. For hundreds of thousands of years. Until now. Now you live in an environment where the genuine threats are largely invisible. Things like financial stress, social rejection, chronic illness, and your ancient threat detector is still scanning for leopards. Not metaphorical leopards. Real ones in the body's memory. Your nervous system does not fully distinguish between a predator stalking you through grass and a hostile email sitting in your inbox. Both trigger the stress response. Both flood your system with the same ancient chemistry. The body does not read context the way the mind does. Research by psychologist Sonia Lupien at the Center for Studies on Human Stress shows that the modern stress response is almost identical in its biology to the ancient fear response. When you feel chronically overwhelmed at work, when social anxiety grips you before a presentation, When you lie awake cycling through worst-case scenarios at 2 a.m., your amygdala is running the same program it ran on the savannah. It just cannot tell the difference between a status threat and a physical one. And here is the part that gets stranger. Your brain not only detects threats, it manufactures them when there are none. This is called the resting threat.